In this video, we're going to use Google Sheets to graph the polygons and histograms. Well, in fact, we can't do histograms, but column graphs that are done in the Cambridge Maths Standard Text in exercise 7F. This example is copied onto this page here. The same groups, class centers, and then the frequencies here are just pasted in. In a moment, I'll show you how to calculate those. Okay, the graph you can see here has a polygon in red going from 0 and back to 0. And instead of actual columns which join together, like the histogram over here, mine are columns. So therefore, this is a column graph, not a histogram, but the polygon is perfectly correct. Okay, so we'll practice drawing that. Now, in this one here, I've got the actual groups. That's usually not as good as putting the class centers in here, because then you can gauge the gaps in between. And we'll see that in a minute. You'll see that Cambridge, for their second example, where they're doing cumulative frequency, they use the class centers. So for you, you could do either or both. My preference would be the class centers. Okay, I could look at example 11 here. Now, we can graph that cumulative frequency, but we can't do, if I did the polygon on Google, it would go to the centers of these columns and be incorrect. So what I have to do is copy that, stick it on the paint application, and then draw some lines on it. When I draw that median in, I can get a much more accurate reading for the median, because if you were to do it from the data, you would end up saying 64.5. If you were to do it up here, you would say the median, we have got 25 scores. That's an odd number, so there's one middle, so the middle will be the 13th. If we look here, the cumulative frequency, the 13th and all the way up to the 21st scores are in here, so 64.5. But you can see it's on the boundary, so we can do a little more accurately. It's closer to 60 than to 64.5. Okay, if this was a histogram, that would be inside the blue of the column. All right, let's do an example and do some graphing now. I'm going to go up to question 7. Here's question 7. We'll have a look at it over on the text here. Page down, whoops, over here, page down. There, one more. Question 7. So there's our data. Question 7. I'm actually going to make a copy of this so that I don't wreck my original data. And then I've got the copy there. Right, let's suppose that none of this was here. Delete. And I wanted to do the frequencies. I would type in equals, because that tells the spreadsheet that I want a formula. I can start typing frequency and hit tab, because frequency has come up here. I know that's the one I want. It's now asking me for the data, and so I'm going to highlight the data that I want and hit the comma, because it's got two parameters that it needs. I now need the classes, which are here. And once I've done that, I can hit enter, and bingo, the frequencies are all done. That's a lot easier than doing all your tallying and checking that you've got all the numbers, crossing them off. Okay, to do the cumulative frequency, I'm going to say equals this cell, which at the moment is empty, plus the cell just to the left. Hit enter, and I've got 7 there. Now I can get my black cross and copy down, and cumulative frequencies are done, instant. Okay, now I've got my frequency table here, my frequency graph, and polygon here, but I'm going to do it again just so that you know how to do it. So at the moment, we'll do frequencies. We're going to include this 0 at the bottom because we need it for our polygon. I'm going to include the titles, X and F, and I'm going to insert a chart. Oh, let's make this full screen actually. Let's work on this. Let's bump it up to 100%. And it's brought up let's just see what sort. It's brought up already a combo chart. Now, if yours doesn't bring up a combo chart straight away, you can go in and you can choose combo chart here. As you roll over, it tells you what it is, and that's it. Now, it's only got one set of data here. So what I'm going to need to do is add another series. I'm going to add another frequency. So it's a bit strange to have two the same, but because I'm in a combo chart, one of them comes up as a line, the other as a column, and I end up immediately with my column graph and polygon superimposed upon the top. I can change my heading here, and I can write frequency. I'm just going to do blah, 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 because you can see it in the other one. I can add a chart subtitle, which might be question 7, and I can center that, and I can center my main title as well. Center that. All right. This legend here I don't need because they're both the same, so I'm going to hit the delete key. I get that blue box around it, hit the delete key. If I want to put some axes on there, let's have a look at the vertical axis. I can either click there or I can click here, vertical, show the axis line. And if I want to change the grid lines, I can show the minor, and I can show the major ticks and minor ticks if I want to. Okay, now 4, 5, this is a bit dodgy, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what I might want to do is have, instead of 2 in between, I might want to have 3 in between. So 4.2, no, that's 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6. So that looks a little more even. So that way you can adjust your scales and your grid lines. Okay, that's looking reasonable. In fact, that's a little neater than this one down here. But you can see that you can add in your headings. Oh, you can add in score and frequency. Let's do that. So down here I've got X. I can either double click here and write score, or I can come over here and I can go to the vertical axis title and I can write frequency. Let's do a capital. And as I hit tab, well, it's there straight away. Definitely when I hit tab, it's going to sit there. All right, so that's done. I can make it whatever size I want, and I can throw it in here. I can throw it wherever I want on my sheet. Okay, so that's frequency done. Let's now do cumulative frequency, and I'm going to highlight that. Because these are separated, I'm going to hold I'm going to hold the control key, and I'm going to highlight. I must have the same height on both of those. This time when I insert a chart, I'm going to have it as a standard setup. I'm just going to do it as a standard, let's come down here to a column graph. And I've got my scores sitting at the bottom. I can change this to score. Tab, and I can change that to cumulative frequency. It's a little more. Okay, a little more formal. Look, I'm not going to bother changing the title, but I'm going to center it. Okay. Now, we cannot do the polygon on here. So what I'm going to have to do is, I'm going to take that off for a minute, just move this up a fraction. I'm going to screenshot this, Windows Shift S. Now, on a Mac, I'm not sure what the shortcut keys are, but on a PC, Windows 10, Windows Shift S. All right, that's on my clipboard. I'm now going to come down to a spare spot. Here you can see I've already done one there. I'm going to click a cell, and that way when I insert this drawing, it's going to sit there. Here's my graph in here now. I'm going to have to draw lines now manually. I'm going to start roughly where this histogram should start and bring the line up. I'm going to use the cursor there to get the middle, the crosses on the cursor to get the middle of the gap, and I'm going to make this about 3 pixels wide. Alright, I can copy that and paste it and shift it up to there and adjust this so that it's sitting there. I'm going to continue this process, paste again, throw this one up here, and you can see exactly how to build this up. Certainly not as easy as doing the frequency one. Okay, and you can see it also snaps pretty well. Now I'm just going to do one more, Control V, and this one I'm going to make roughly at 15.5 for my median. I'm going to extend the line out, try and get it horizontal. There, I'm going to change its color to pink, and I can do copy paste. I can make this nice and vertical. Let's grab that and throw it down there. It looks pretty vertical. I can hit the arrow keys, move it back, move it up, and you can see there that I've got really a median. That was roughly 15.5 there. Half of 30 scores is between the 15th and the 16th because it's an even number of scores. Okay, save and close, and I've got a diagram coming in here, very similar to this one up here. Oh, the only thing I didn't do was put in a number. Let's just so that you know how to put in a text box. Here's a text box, 22. I'm going to change that to red or pink, and I can throw that down here. You can make it tidier than mine, but I think that's the general idea. So a bit of mucking around, but that's the process for graphing on Google Sheets.